Great morning. I hope that you're having a fabulous, fantastic Thursday. And I'm here live with Destin Gerek. And I'm me, a very, Destin, correct me if I'm not pronouncing your name right.
Destin Gerek, but
Destin Gerek.
that works for me.
My English, Spanish, forgive me. But I am so excited today to bring him on board live. I have been doing an amazing, incredible training with facilitators, and he has been part of the teachers. And yesterday he did a presentation that really was so amazing, and it resonated so well with me. And his topic is really about empowering the men and helping men to not just be aligned with their sexuality, but also to be aligned with the wholeness of themselves. So I'm really, really, really excited because this work that he's doing is very powerful and it's totally needed because I do feel like many men need the support and they need that space for really being heard and understood and all this deliciousness. So welcome everyone. Thank you for the heart, thank you for the love. We're doing two streaming here, like one in YouTube and one on Facebook. So yeah, we're covering the whole thing. So I'm so excited for you to join us. So thank you for saying yes to this quick interview, and so please share with us who you are and how you're really helping men to transform their life deeply, because you're really doing deep work. It's not just like sugar covering thing. You're really doing like deep work. So I'm so excited.
It's the only way I play. My name is Destin Gerek, and I've been doing work around sexuality for almost 20 years, and specifically men's work for 9, I think. I'm here down at the Transformational Intensive for Extraordinary Facilitators, run by Monique Darling, and here with Lucia. And the work that I do is really about helping. Well, the world is changing, and it's changing rapidly, right? We're all very aware of that. The gender dynamics and roles have shifted so much. Women are rising up in their power. They're claiming their voices. They're owning their sexuality and desires in ways that their grandmothers could never even have imagined. And a lot of men are really, put simply, are confused or even lost. Like, well, okay, so what now? What do we do with this? How are we supposed to show up? What do women even want from us anymore? I really do believe that most men really want to be good men. There's just so much noise out there. It can be really confusing as to what that even means anymore. So the work that I run a program called The Evolved Masculine Path. I also run a podcast called The Evolved Masculine, Redefining Sex, Power, and Success. Find it on iTunes and subscribe. And with The Evolved Masculine, we focus on 3 main areas. What I refer to as deep masculine empowerment, sexual self-mastery, and understanding and gratifying women. What I found is just about I'm going to cut the qualifier. Every man that I've ever met has something going on in at least one of those areas. And so when we speak of deep masculine empowerment, this has to do with your sense of self, knowing who you are, feeling your strength, your confidence, your own deep personal power. Not the old paradigm of power over. I feel my power by making others feel small, but rather that power that's sourced from within, that just by being in your presence, others feel more powerful being around you. And that's the power that we speak of. That deep confidence, knowing that you can approach or go up to any woman that you find attractive without feeling like you're shrinking in her presence instead. That confidence in knowing that you can be a good lover. That confidence to pursue what you feel like you are here to pursue in life, in work, a sense of purpose. Sexual self-mastery. Sexual self-mastery has to do with like being able to last as long as you want. Mastering your sexual energy. Yeah, exactly. Being able to master your own sexual energy rather than being controlled by your sexual energy, feeling like your dick runs your life, or feeling like your sexuality has to be repressed all the time because it's not okay. Instead, being able to be with your sexuality, be with your sexual energy. we have kind of a meme in our culture that men are like dogs when it comes to sex. If there's a possibility of sex waved in front of them, it's just like, yes, please. And that is not freedom. That is not power. That is not choice. That freedom, power really are rooted in really being a choice, and choice involves being able to say yes as well as being able to say no. Um, So sexual self-mastery also includes things like being experiencing more full-body orgasms versus just these genitally based sneezes, and
The short one.
yeah, exactly. Longer, deeper, more powerful orgasms that are more akin to the types of orgasms that you may have seen in a woman. Uh, as well as even non-ejaculatory energetic orgasms, which is something our culture doesn't normally even recognize as existing. So being able to separate out ejaculation, the emission of the fluid, from orgasm, that flood of pleasure through the body, which also lends to male multiple orgasms. Again, something our culture doesn't even recognize as existing, because we tend to think of men, ejaculation equals orgasm, you ejaculate, you fall over and go to sleep. Um,
Yeah.
You're like, how should I know
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
And instead, when you're able to separate out those two experiences, when you have non-ejaculatory energetic orgasms, the orgasm, instead of leaving you feeling drained like ejaculation does, actually leaves you feeling more like more
Alive.
energized, more alive, yeah, and an ability to keep going and to spill into another
Forever.
orgasm and spill into another orgasm, which you may want to end in an ejaculatory orgasm, or you may feel fulfilled and like, I just want to carry this enlivened energy with me as I move through the rest of the day, which can also be really yummy. Um, and the third major area is understanding and gratifying women. Under, yeah.
Oh, that's a deep one, right there.
You get back into the memes of our culture, and we have things like the uh, the new book on understanding women has just arrived, and you see this like 10,000 page book, and this guy like looking over it, bewildered. Is that there's this general idea that women are an absolute mystery. You cannot understand them, and there are certain ways in which that's true, and there are other ways in which it's not true and not helpful. Yes, women. That's a certain beauty and enjoyment of women, is that there is a certain degree of there will always be a mystery, and I think that's part of our complementary nature, because as men, like, we love solving things.
Yeah.
So it's here's this endless puzzle. It's sort of like God and this universe itself. It's this great mystery that we can spend. I mean, when it comes to understanding all of this, I mean, we've spent the history of mankind trying to understand it, and for all we've understood, there still seems to be far more we still don't understand. Women are much the same way, and there's still so much that we can understand. That's I feel like one of the major reasons why men come to me is because seemingly I have come to understand a lot about women that a lot of men are really lost on. And don't get me wrong, I still get stymied at times. I still get like, what?
What's going on?
But
What?
however, there's been a lot of growth, a lot of knowing and understanding. And with that, it's like understanding how to meet a woman physically, intellectually, emotionally, sexually, spiritually. And so that she really feels met. So she really feels like, all of me is being seen. All of me is being met. And, well, watch how she opens to you, emotionally, sexually, like never before. So those are some of the core elements of what we do with the Evolved Masculine Path.
Cool.
And
I love that. And so, what do you think is holding men back and like actually experience the whole sexual fulfillment? Because a lot of men come and they want to experience that sexual connection, because it's like beyond the sexual act, they craving for that connection with their partner, and they craving for being understood and being nurture in a way, in like like a nurturing way of sexuality.
Well,
So
you speak of the craving. I do think the craving is there, but we also have deep programming that says no. We're not supposed to want those things. Those are signs of weakness. Those, those like as men, we're just supposed to want to fuck, you know, and that there is we're still human beings, and we do have those. We do have emotions, believe it or not, and
yeah,
but a lot of men are disconnected from their bodies. A lot of men are disconnected from their hearts, disconnected from their emotions, and this starts from a very young age when we're taught as boys they're not okay. You know, we're certainly not supposed to cry. We're not really. You're not supposed to smile too much, because what are you,
yeah.
gay?
I know, right?
You're smiling.
Ooh, you sent me like a flag, right? Like
Uh,
a hint, smiling.
but uh, we have the capacity to feel so much, and as was speaking of yesterday, when I was growing up, I was really sent the message that my sensitivity was my weakness, and in adulthood, I've really come to believe that my sensitivity is my great strength. I have an enormous sensitivity to be able to feel so much, to feel such subtleties in another human being, and honestly, it's what's made me a great lover, because I can feel what's going on in my partner's body, in that before they would ever be even able to put words to it. You can just feel it and notice it and react and respond to those feelings. And now I'd never be able to do that if I was cut off from this. And by recultivating that connection to the body, to be able to listen to the subtle sensations and the subtle messages of the body, your sex life can improve so much. Getting back to the sexual self-mastery piece, men who are dealing with rapid ejaculation, for example, or premature ejaculation, the general meme, the story in our society is that, dude, you're just too sensitive, man. You're just too sensitive. You need to, use some desensitizing cream, put on 2 condoms, something. You're too
Or
sensitive.
you're too weak too.
Yeah,
Or
of
you cannot
course.
hold it, or you're not good enough to hold it, or you're not trained enough, or you don't have the whole, what do you call it, performance aspect of it, like being able to hold it and last.
Well, yes, and that's just another piece of this. But uh, when it comes to that being too sensitive, I'd actually say that the opposite is true. You're not sensitive enough, and there are things that are going on inside of your body that you're unaware of, and that you're doing unconsciously in your body that are driving you towards ejaculation. And that instead, by increasing your awareness of these different pieces that we go over in the Evolved Masculine Path, um, you can start to be aware of these things that you're doing unconsciously, and then start to shift them, and then start to last longer, and then going from just lasting longer to actually really being at choice. Because the truth is, when you have real sexual self-mastery, it's not about being able to last a little longer. It's really about being able to last as long as you want, because time doesn't matter. You can move the sexual energy. So if it starts to build, you're moving it. As it starts to build, you're moving it. And as you're moving it, you're feeling more. You're feeling more pleasure in your body. You're able to direct that energy more into your partner's body, which she's able to feel more and more pleasure within herself as well. It opens up whole worlds of possibility.
Yummy. Delicious. And what I am so honored to be here with Destin
Justin.
today. I don't know, for some reason I called it Destin, like, I don't know English.
It happens.
It happens. Okay, I'm not the
Really.
first one.
No, you're
Thank
not.
you, God. I love you. What I am, like, one of my mentors, Evelyn, if you're watching, I'm going to be
Hi,
tagging
Evelyn.
you here. Say love to Evelyn, because she's, like, in love with you. And she talked to me about you and, like, the work, because I'm so passionate about helping men too. And she's like, you got to connect with Destin. You got to connect with him. You got to learn about him. You got to learn from him. He's amazing. He's doing this incredible work. And I saw your website, and I really fell in love with everything you're doing and what you create for men, because I really feel like men come a lot in trying to understand it, and there's no safe space for it. for it. Like they're really not. And I have personally tried to create, not tried. I have created events for men, and sometimes they don't feel welcome, or they feel like um, they're not good enough to show up to an event like that to help themselves because they feel like, oh my God, I'm wrong. Something wrong with me if I show up to something like that.
Well, one thing that I've learned, like with the Evolved Masculine Path, for example, is, we were talking yesterday about transformation and change, and I stated that the biggest thing that gets in the way of transformation is ego. And this can certainly be the case with a lot of men as well. And so one thing that I've learned with my work is to frame it in aspirationally rather than fixing. Yeah, well, the evolved masculine is an ideal to be striving towards, so that the men who join it are men who are really wanting to be ahead of the pack, not just broken men who want to feel normal. And that shifts how men relate to it, so it's something that they can more feel pride in being a part of versus the opposite, versus like feeling shame for being a part of.
So we do have a sacred space for men. We're creating it. Justin has created an amazing community, amazing tribe for men to really feel welcome and accepted and really understood where they're coming from and where they're heading. So I love the fact that he used so many amazing tools. And like not just working from the mental level, the emotional, the spiritual, the wholeness of it. What I love about his work is resonating with mine is like integrative. It's like whole and integrative way of working with individuals, which in some, tribe or community, you don't see as much of that. So I'm really passionate about sharing this with you guys, that there's a sacred space for you to come and to evolve in all levels of your life, and sexuality, in your sexuality at a deeper level too. So beside of just one last question before we wrap it up, how can women help men to being in this journey?
Yeah.
How can we help you guys? Because I love and I adore men, and I really, my heart goes like, shh. And how can we help you guys?
Yeah. So there's men, you're not gonna like this answer, because there really are two aspects to this. There are ways of being spacious and nurturing, of just holding space for his process, and I'll tell you what not to do. What not to do as his lover, as his partner, is to try to be his therapist, to be his coach, to be his healer. That tends to actually break down relationships. Even spending too much energy trying to push him towards resources can cause him instead to withdraw. So, rather, there are ways in which you can nurture and you can bring him to things that you're genuinely interested in, to see if he'll open up to it. Sometimes, though, this is the part you're not going to like, sometimes a woman's best way of helping a man really is to challenge him.
Yes!
It sucks. It's uncomfortable.
Fire!
But yeah, sometimes the fire is...
I love you.
I've been on the other side of that fire, and it's pain. It can be painful. It can create all sorts of discomfort, even resistances in the moment. But I've also had some of my biggest growth from being massively challenged by my woman, and ultimately rising up to meet it.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
See why I love this man? He's authentic, and he's really speaking from both sides of the story. So to wrap it up, how they can find you?
Sure.
I know that you have a retreat coming up.
Yeah,
where they can
easiest
go.
to remember is evolvedmasculine.com, and also destingerek.com, DestinGerek. And of course, check out the podcast, evolvedmasculine.com/radio, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, etc. And yeah, please do connect. If I can support you, I'm very happy to do so.
Thank you so much for spending time with me. And you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for showing up today. Please share this with your friends, with your family, with every single man that you know that they need to hear this today. And thank you for all of you guys who have been sharing and making comments in the live stream. And all of to my amazing YouTube viewers, do you have any question, email us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're gonna have more amazing interviews this week. So I love you. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye bye.